travel to the Philippines to hang out with other tourists. We come to countries like the Philippines to interact with locals and learn about the local culture and learn some language and just have good, wholesome interaction with locals. Almost nothing's too hard.
No,
even from
seem to be.
not even from like a hospitality perspective, just in life in general. We've started to understand the people better, and because of that, we're having better and better experiences with locals. So it's officially been a month since we first landed in the Philippines, and we're on the beautiful island of Boracay, and we thought what a great opportunity to tell everyone what our thoughts are after a month of being in the Philippines as a family. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the people in the Philippines. Obviously, in our first impressions video, we spoke about how highly we regarded the Filipinos.
Yes,
and
we think they're amazing just from their friendliness and their welcoming, and they're willing to help anyone and everyone.
Yeah, that really hasn't changed after a month. If
No.
anything, we have more appreciation for Filipinos and the culture and how friendly and how inviting and how welcoming everyone is in the Philippines. That hasn't changed. I don't think we've had, in a month, I don't think we've had a single bad experience with any people.
No.
Even in a place like Boracay where there's more touters and people trying to sell things.
Yeah, they're still quite friendly though. Like they ask you whether you want a paddleboard or a
That's swap hands.
paddleboard or a kayak or a canoe, or you want to go parasailing, whatever it is that they're trying to sell. You just say no thank you, and they actually just say no worries or you're welcome back to you kind of thing. So it's just like they're just happy.
Yeah. And yeah, it's been amazing how time and again how good people have been to us, and I don't know whether it's just because we're a family or whether we're tourists or what have you, but I feel like as far as a country to visit if you have a family, it's been absolutely amazing. And as time has gone on, so like I said, we've been here for a month now, as time has gone on, we've started to understand the people better, and because of that, we're having better and better experiences with locals.
That's exactly right. So that makes a good point. Like we actually have better experiences in the non-tourist areas. Like that's what we found in the non-tourist areas. We actually have a better experience because it is more with locals rather than tourists, and it's just been a better experience for us. Like when we're outside the major cities and find a spot that's really pretty but no other tourists are there, and have the best experience, and our kids have the best experience then.
Because we didn't travel to the Philippines to hang out with other tourists. We don't travel like that any country that we go to. We come to countries like the Philippines to interact with locals and learn about the local culture and learn some language and just have good, wholesome interaction with locals. And the Philippines has got that in spades because everyone is so friendly and everyone's so willing to talk to us and have a chat. And the more we interact with people in the Philippines, the better and better our experiences have been.
Yep.
Which is, it's been really amazing.
And then that kind of lends itself to as well, just thinking with the food. So when we started traveling in the Philippines, we really didn't know what to expect in regards to like cleanliness and restaurants versus eateries and that kind of stuff. So we did actually spend a lot of time eating in restaurants, and we were realizing it was costing us quite a bit. And then you walk past all these eateries and all the locals are eating there, and you wonder, okay, if they're eating there, then surely we can try this, because everywhere over here they've got to drink the drinking water as well. They can't drink the tap water. So we've realised everywhere serves drinking water, and everywhere at these eateries all the locals are eating at, so why can't we? So we actually started just, you know, slowly introducing ourselves into the eateries, and we've actually had a much better eating experience and better for our hip pocket with the budget. But yeah, back into the local experiences of actually sitting there and eating their own cuisine in their own local environment.
Yeah, so like we've been eating in the last like 2 weeks of this month, we've been eating a lot more rice, adobo, chop suey, just out of the pots at eateries.
Canditas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been good because we've met a lot of local people that way, and also the food has been really good because yeah, we got warned, like Pauline was saying, we got warned that there's a good chance you can get sick if you eat at eateries. But we've eaten at 20, 30 plus now, and none of us have gotten sick.
No.
So I think it's just common sense prevails. Like you don't eat where it's not busy. So we always just try and eat where it's busy, and that seems to be pretty good.
And that also lends into the common sense thing over here. So many things are so relaxed. Like you would not see people driving in the back of utes and just chilling out, doing whatever they needed to do, but they have a lot more common sense over here than I think Westerners do. Like Westerners have too many rules and regulations that make them stop and think or maybe do something stupid. But over here, common sense is much higher, I feel.
It's something that gets mentioned a lot in like Facebook groups and stuff with expats that I'm a part of. And they say, oh, you know, there's not enough rules and like people just don't obey the rules here. Well, it's because people use common sense. So if they're looking at a road and they see that they can cross, they cross. They don't need a sign to tell them that they can cross. So like common sense really does prevail in the Philippines, and that's what we've noticed in the month. Is like when we got here, it was quite frustrating, to be honest. Like if you're waiting to cross the road and you're standing there and waiting because no one's stopping.
No one's going to stop.
But as we've been here for longer, we've realised that it's just common sense. Like we put our hand out and we slow the traffic down and then we cross, and no one gets upset because everyone's using common sense. And that's definitely something we've noticed since for the last month since we've been here, that maybe when we first got here we didn't really understand.
No, and it's made our life a whole lot easier as well, understanding these local cultures and these local common sense type items. It's made it easier for us.
It has. Okay, so something else we've definitely noticed since we've been in the Philippines for a while is how much more independent the boys have actually gotten. It could be just because they're getting older too.
Maybe.
But Liam the other day went down to the shop all by himself and went and bought us a loaf of bread and bits and pieces that we asked him to get. In Australia, he would never have done that, firstly, and in Malaysia,
we probably would have never let him.
We would have never let him. Yeah,
like that's the whole big thing. We would have never done that because it's just not a culture in Australia to let your kids do those kinds of things.
And over here, I genuinely feel safer over here than I did in Australia, in the Philippines, and it was the same for Malaysia too. It just must be a Southeast Asian thing, but I really do feel safe here in the Philippines, and I think the reason for that is that everyone's so family orientated here that everyone is kind of looking out for each other's children. So like even when we're out and about, I know that there's people on the beach, like we're at the beach at the moment, the boys are just playing behind us right there. And I know that there's people on the beach that if someone walked up to them, they would be like, come and find us and go, oh, you know, what's going on? You know, like, and we've seen that several times where like we've been on adventures and the guides have really basically just treated them like their own kids.
Yeah.
And the Philippines it's not something we experienced when we first got here, but as we've opened up and really tried to meet more locals and you know, assimilate into the culture, people have opened up themselves and we're seeing that more and more. So that's something we definitely noticed. And you know, we're really family orientated. Paul and I, we're really family orientated, and so we love the Philippines. It really marries up with our philosophies on life in regards to family and how important family is. And you really notice that when you're family orientated. The Philippines is a really family orientated country, so it's a really good country to visit as a family.
Oh, it is so easy to travel here with kids. Like just like you were saying, everyone is so willing to help. So you know, our kids carry their own bags, and there's people there that are just willing to help them on the ferry or help them on the bus and sort out their bag for them. It's just the little things that they do to help that makes our travel easier.
100%. Okay, so Pauline, we've been here for a month.
Yes.
You like it more or less now than you did when we first got here?
I think I actually like it more. It was a massive shock coming from one country to another, just like it always is. But it has grown on me so much. I would rent or buy one of these hotels on the beach and just be a hotel manager and work for ourselves. It just looks like so much fun.
I think what it is, I was thinking about this before we made the video, and you know, the Philippines has really grown on us as a family.
Yeah.
You know, none of us have any real complaints. We do have some, and I'm going to talk about them in a sec, so make sure to watch to the end of the video to find out what we don't like about the Philippines. But I think what it actually is I feel, and I can only speak for myself and be interested to know if you feel the same way, I feel more at home in the Philippines than I do in Australia.
Yeah, I think you've got that one there. Just in the way, like, at home it was such a stressful environment. You're always worrying about where your kids are, what are they doing, like, is someone going to break into our house tonight? Have you locked all the front doors? Have you locked your car? Like, there's just so much anxiety running through you because you just don't know what that other person or other people are up to. Whereas here, there's just not that environment, like, because they've all got the same. They're all living the same way. No need for that scramble over everyone like Australia feels like to get to the top. The culture's just not like that. They would rather be your friend, your family, than your foe.
And I think also too, Paulie and I and the kids, we're quite relaxed people. Like, we just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
And the Philippines is all about going with the flow.
It's all about that.
So it just suits us from a lifestyle perspective. Everyone has the same sort of mentality. Not everyone, but like majority of Filipinos have the same mentality about life as we do.
Yeah.
You know, I like to have a joke, I like to smile, you like to smile, and this is a country where that if you smile and you laugh, you can just about get away with anything. Whereas in Australia, everyone was so uptight and everyone was trying to keep up with the Joneses and get a big car and stuff. Like, the Philippines has shown us that there's different priorities in life, and family is should be a high priority for everyone.
Family and experiences with your family, like they're all about, like here on Boracay, we thought it's going to be tourists, and it is. But majority are actually Filipino tourists, like they're local tourists wanting to come and experience their own backyard.
Have a family reunion.
And have a family reunion.
Just hang out with the
family.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is, they come all to one place and they have a good old time.
Now, we've obviously spoken about a lot of the positives of the Philippines because we do feel the positives outweigh the negatives, but there is a few things that we've noticed after a month that are starting to wear on us a little bit. They're not deal breakers. We still love the Philippines, and we love the Philippines more now than we did when we first landed. But one of those is, it is pretty frustrating to have to wait 2 hours to get a form filled out, or you know, we had to go get like an extension because we extended our stay here in the Philippines. There was a lot of waiting around to get that kind of thing done and sorted. Even just like waiting for ferries, like in Australia, one of the good things about Australia and maybe one of the negatives here in the Philippines is in Australia, everyone forms a line. So like if you are waiting for a ferry,
everything's quite organised in Australia, right? You turn up, you do this, you do this, you do this, you hop on the ferry or you hop on the bus, whatever it is. There's always like this standard like set of actions. Here, not so much. Like everyone just kind of...
It becomes a blob and...
pushes in and...
I suppose for us it's more just something that we're not used to. And so like we notice it a lot more. It's not a good or bad thing, it's just something that we've observed that has kind of gotten to us a little bit in the month that we've been here. Is like, you know, I'm used to just standing in line and waiting my turn, and it really gets me when someone cuts in front of me. And I've kind of just had to grip my teeth and smile in the Philippines because that happens a lot here. So something else we've noticed is that outside of the capitals, you know, Cebu and Manila, the internet can get pretty sketchy, and which affects us a lot because our livelihood depends on the internet. So we definitely noticed that. We've gotten to places where they've said that the internet is good and it really just hasn't been enough for us. We now have to be just more conscious of where we get internet. You know, when we're booking a place, we have to really ask, is the internet fast, because our livelihood depends on it. Credit to all Filipinos, you know, every person that we've said that to has been very accommodating, to the point that one person switched their internet out for us so it was faster.
That's true.
So they, you know, everyone wants to accommodate you and everyone wants to do that, but you know, it's just something we've noticed.
So then the last kind of thing that we have also, if you do, like we do, get outside of the major cities and outside of the tourist attractions, it's kind of a little bit hard to find suitable accommodation, you know, internet, beds, a table to work from, like just the stuff we kind of always, it makes our life easier while traveling. It's a little bit hard to find because the infrastructure just isn't there. So you have to just do a bit more research to find that kind of accommodation that you really want.
And again, I always tie this back to the Filipinos, right? So we were on Panglao, and it's a beautiful accommodation, but the bed was rock hard. I don't know what it is about Filipinos and hard beds, but I'm a big guy and I need a softer bed. I know it sounds a first world problem, but this bed was like a rock. And so we slept on it one night, and Pauline, I said to the lady who was running the place,
she was so lovely.
She was so lovely. I said to her, look, I'm sorry, this is nothing against your accommodation, it's beautiful, but this bed is too hard. I'm going to have to book into a hotel or something. Sure enough, 3 hours later, there was a bed, brand new mattress waiting for us. She said, look, I completely understand, you know, we're used to harder beds, but we want more tourists to come, so we understand. So she went and organised another mattress to get delivered. I feel like that would only happen in the Philippines.
I think so as well.
You know, she didn't take it personally, she just took it as like, we want to be as accommodating and hosting as possible. So, you know, I find that's the, I'm going to end on this too. I find that's one thing I've definitely noticed in the Philippines is that like almost nothing's too hard.
No,
not even
doesn't seem to be.
Not even from like a hospitality perspective, just in life in general. There's people here I've seen that have broken down on the side of the road and they just make it work. You know, they just like fix their bike up, or like down here there's people carrying, like nothing's too hard. So like it's a country that wants to showcase what it's got. So like you get fussy tourists like ourselves that can't sleep on a bed. Nothing's too hard. I would have been like, if I ran that place, I would have been like, oh, well, I can't just get a new mattress.
No.
But nothing's too hard. And that is just testament to Filipinos, and why our experience has been so good here is because like it takes effort and energy to go up to a foreigners and go and talk to them, right?
Yes,
like as a Filipino, but nothing's too hard for them. They go, oh, I want to meet them, so I'm going to talk to them. Or like when we talk to them, they're busy. They take the time to sit down and actually talk to us and have interactions with us. All that takes effort and time, and nothing's too hard for Filipinos. And I think that's what makes this place, and that's one biggest thing I've observed since we've been here is that like nothing's too hard for Filipinos, and everyone's so accommodating of us. But yeah, obviously we had a few negatives there, but the negatives definitely don't outweigh the positives, as you can tell.
There's definitely way more positives than there is negatives in the Philippines, and like we've listed, there's just so many, from family, from the experiences, you know, right down to the people. So
and I'm going to end on this. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe, because we got lots of vlogs coming out in the future. You know, long story short, if we had some way of moving over here, I think we'd seriously consider it, but we can only get a visa a month at a time, so that's not possible.
It's a bit frustrating, but we'll get there.
The Philippines is definitely going to be somewhere we visit more often, because I need to understand why more people don't come to the Philippines. That's
what we've been trying to figure out. Like, is it not well advertised? Do people not know what's here? Do people think it's hard? Like, we are trying to figure out why the Philippines is not travelled more often.
This month has been an amazing experience, and I can't wait for the next month, because we're here for 2. Can't wait for the next month.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wish we were here for a year.
Yeah.
It's been so good.
There's just so many corners to be explored that they don't show you, or you have to do a mountain of research. But here, you just talk to the locals and you a wealth of knowledge, but it's just not out there for the public. So that's what I want to know.
All right, so that's what our thoughts of the month in the Philippines that we've had so far. Let us know your thoughts. If you're watching this, give us some comments. Do you agree or disagree? That's what we want to know.
Have you been to the Philippines? What are your thoughts? Are they the same as ours?
Or do you live in the Philippines and does what we're saying resonate with you? Leave it in the comments. We'll pin the best one, and we'll catch you in the next video. So I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Pauline.
And we'll catch you all
on the horizon.